Chris, what do you feel is the biggest thing that buyers are struggling with right now?
That's the biggest question, is affordability. I think is the number one thing right now. Obviously, we've seen, kind of like people are looking at the numbers. They're comparing them back to the rates we used to have, which we're most likely never going to see those rates again. So kind of setting a realistic expectation between sellers and buyers of where that affordability is. So sellers obviously want the most they can get for their house. Buyers want to get the best deal they can get on the house. So the good thing is the majority of sellers have that equity to work with. So if you want to get into a position where buyers and sellers agree on something, sellers come down, buyers meet it, you come to a happy meeting place, and we make the sale happen. So I think, as long as sellers are willing to negotiate, buyers can bring that affordability up and get what they're looking for. And I think that's really what it comes down to. So in that affordability answer, buyers are also looking for stuff that's more complete, more finished, more updated, because they're spending their last dime, some of them, just to get into this house, and they can't afford to do these updates, renovations. So they're going to pick the nicest one over the other ones, even if it's a $5,000 to $10,000 difference, because they don't have to spend the $20,000 to $30,000 in updates or renovations, whatever it might be.
It's so good. Powerful. Yeah. What brought you into real estate?
That's a fun question. So it's been in my blood. I grew up, at a young age, actually, flipping homes, and how that got started. I wasn't doing the flipping, it was my dad, obviously. But my dad was known as Ken the Mailman throughout all of Winter Park, because he walked over 10 miles a day carrying a 40-pound sack of mail, and everybody knew him. He'd have a conversation with you. He'd help you in your yard. Everybody knew him just because he cared so much for the community. And being in that position, you kind of know what's going on in the neighborhood.
Yes.
So they'd be like, "Hey Ken, we're getting ready to sell the house. If you know anybody," and he'd be like, "Well, actually, I might be interested." So they talk terms, and he'd buy it, give them the price they're asking, do some work to it, and I'd be up there, helping him landscape or paint the house, or I was up on the roof doing the tar and asphalt roofs, like these old flat roofs. In Winter Park way back in the day before everything was mansionized, so yeah, we had a pretty good connection there, and that kind of got me into the love of remodeling and houses, renovations, and then seeing people at the end of the day, that my dad was able to provide a home in an affordable manner at that too. Also, my mom was a real estate agent, and I did not find that out until I became a real estate agent and was going through the licensing, and she's like, "I just let it lapse a year ago," and she had held on to it for so many years. So I thought that was funny too, that she, I never knew this as a child, that my mom also had her real estate license, and she had done some deals, and it was like, who would have known? My super mom.
That's awesome. So it's built into your DNA.
It's in my DNA.
Yeah,
from
both sides.
From birth. Yeah.
That's so good. What is one thing that the average person completely misunderstands about this current market?
Well, there's a lot. But it would really be, I guess, a lot of them are stuck in the 2021 and 22 mindset. So sellers are thinking that the market is still there, and it's been a while.
That it's hot, right?
Right, it's been a while. So we obviously have more inventory now. So sellers would be, I would say, the common misconception is they're still raking in these multiple offers, over asking, and it's just not there anymore. And it's all about preparedness, getting that house ready. So you get it ready, you can still get top dollar. You just got to make sure it's prepared. Put the money into the places where you're going to get your most return on value, and don't spend on other areas where you won't. On the buy side, the misconception is every seller should be giving everything away, to give the farm away so they can buy their house, because now they know there's inventory out there. Buyers that are in the market now typically understand, they've been through some markets, they've been through the pain, they've been feeling it. They're like, now it's our time. So buyers are really feeling like it's the time for them. So the unrealistic expectation is every house they go to see, that they're going to offer $50,000 less and get it for $50,000 less. So that's the hard part. Now, some of them might be willing and ready to come down $50,000. You never know, but the majority of them are not dropping. They're sitting on there I've got a great rate on this. I can sit it out and wait, till market shifts, that sort of thing. So I'd say those are the two. For buyers, it would be thinking that they're going to get every house for dirt cheap, and for sellers, it's thinking they're going to get more than what it may even be possible to get.
Total opposites on
Right.
the spectrum.
Two total opposite, yeah. polar
Wow.
opposite. So we got to get them to meet somewhere in the middle at some point to make the sale happen.
And that's where you come in.
That's where I come in. Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly.
Awesome. I work with nothing but buyers. You work with buyers and sellers. So I've got a buyer looking at a particular home, and it's been on the market for 171 days.
Yeah.
If you had to guess, without knowing anything about this property, what would you say is the one reason why it's been sitting on the market for 171 days?
A litany of responses to that. So, yes, I think the common what a buyer would see in that is that they're unwilling to come down on price. I mean, they're just stuck on their number. B would be that there's something wrong with the house. That it is definitely out there. It's in their mindset like, hey, why is this sitting here for so long? What's going on? And some of them don't even ask the question just because they're like, I mean, it's been there that long. People have seen it, and
Obviously,
it's not in their contract.
something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then C would be there is the process, and this is kind of what I mentioned to people too, is like I look to see maybe if that house is in a trust or if it's in something that maybe the original owner had passed away, and the trust, there's maybe one family member in that trust that's ready to sell. The other two or three or however many might want that higher number. So eventually they have to sell it. And that's when, when you're looking and researching into properties, you might be able to get a deal on something. That's kind of like, that's the unknown part of it, like you just don't know, but that's also might be put there. So that trust might be letting that number sit for the longest time. Then all of a sudden gets to a point where all the siblings or whoever's connected on this trust or heirs to the property decide, all right, let's do it. Let's just take the offer and go. And that's when you see those things sell for like, whoa, what happened? What was wrong? Again, then you're thinking, what's wrong with this house?
Right.
So that I would say that would be it. Like those three components are probably
Wow,
the biggest
extraordinary. In your 8 years of being a realtor, what is the wildest transaction that comes to the top of your mind?
Yeah, it's an easy one.
Okay.
It is something you just can't prepare for, and in real estate, there's quite a few scenarios that I've been through. But number one, and I've told this story quite a bit because it's on top of mind when it comes to wild moments. But I was helping this woman, and she had lost her husband 4 years prior, and super sweet, and she had her house on the market for months, and nothing was happening, and the agent kept dropping the price and still no change. And I came into the neighborhood. I sold a home within 3 days. So she's like, wow, I want this guy to sell. She was under contract. So of course, like I'm always by the books, and I would make sure I'm never stepping on anybody's toes. And I let her know, listen, I can't help you now, and I can't even really talk about it. But if it doesn't sell with whoever you're working with, after that, you can contact me. So week before that listing agreement was closing, that agent told her to drop it $10,000 more. Yeah. So she called me afterwards, still didn't sell. Nothing changed on the marketing or anything. There was no marketing done, just dropping the price, hoping to prayer. So she reached out to me afterwards. I helped her strategically get it ready for the market, change some things, remove some old things, just like taking things away. Sometimes just opening it up, brightening up the spaces, doing some light updates, spending a little bit of money with a massive return. And we raised it $10,000, had it under contract that week. Had people ask me like, oh, this was just $10,000 cheaper, just a month ago. I'm like, well, now it's in multiple offers, so you're gonna have to step up and make it your offer in. So really had it going for her, and we got it under contract. The buyers had a home sale contingency, but they were closing on it very soon. And 9 days later, after going under contract, she passed away. Yeah, so shocking, and no close relatives. Her family was in Puerto Rico. So the only people, there was 5 heirs attached to this house. So now we're going into probate. Have to get a hold of all 5 heirs. Some of them were charities, some of them were people. And if any one of these people laid claim to the house, it's like a whole different ballgame and may not even be able to sell it. Meanwhile, we've got a pre-occupancy lease for the buyers trying to buy this home. They're moving into this home because their home sold, and they don't know if they're going to be able to buy the home that they're trying to buy. So whole lots of moving parts there. And we did end up closing on it. And once we got a hold of theirs and got everything. So it was just, it was a pretty amazing story that first off that it happened. And, it was just, you get close with people to see that happen was just, it was kind of sad, but also, you know, I think she obviously would feel peace at the end. You know, I mean, that was just how it all ended, but yeah, that was like my most memorable moment.
Literally unforgettable.
Unforgettable. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. It's number one.
Something you can't prepare for.
No.
Right? You have to be ready for it. Ready or
Right.
not, here it comes. But
Right.
you can't prepare for that. And
Yeah.
wow. Well, you were able to serve her even when she was not
Yeah.
even on this side.
Yeah. So her wishes came, you know, with the heirs, you know, everything that she had, the money that was allocated to everybody got what they, you know, wanted out of it. And so at the end of the day, yes, everything went
You
through.
helped her
but
family get
I
$10,000
still helped her
more.
family. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then that went to the
Actually,
charities.
20 more because the other agent was suggesting to lower the price again. So
Yeah,
you did,
well,
you did
yeah.
really, really
That's
well
what
by
they
her.
would have done. Yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
another. Yeah. So.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
memorable.
Yeah, very memorable. Yeah, I'll never forget that for
No
sure.
way. Incredible story. Chris, one of the things that I love most about you as a real estate professional is your marketing. So I follow you, I'm connected with you on all the social media, and I get to see these extraordinary marketing videos that you do for your listings. And some of your properties are, you know, normal for the area, and some
Right.
of them are very, very unique. I see you
Right.
do some fun things, but
Yeah.
like, where do you come up with your ideas, or like, what do you do when you first start, you know, listing your property?
Right.
Where does the inspiration come from?
So I've always had a fantastic imagination. I wrote crazy books as a kid. I came up with all kinds of stuff, even with some of my family members. We just kind of like would spitball off of each other. So my mind always works in just the craziest of ways sometimes.
Creative ways.
Creative, there you go, I like that. So I come up with an idea for a house, and sometimes it's difficult because I've done quite a few of them. But I try to like, what is one great aspect about this house? And I try to kind of like focus in on that. And then I create a script all the way around that and all of the attributes, of course, with the property. But I really try to get something that's gonna make a statement to people who are just stopping by to look at this video. So you've got to have something that draws them in. And create a story sometimes too. So sometimes it's the storybook house, or sometimes there's an adventure. I just had one that's a 1/2 acre property, but it's got like a little trail built in the back of the property. It's got extra space next to it where you could potentially build a home. So I went crocodile hunter on it, and I did a little adventure through the trail. And so I just love different, you know, trying to use the best qualities of this house, represented in the best way that's going to get the most people to see what's going on in this house. Because not everybody's looking on MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com. They might be just watching social media and be like, what's this crazy thing, right? And then they send it to them, hey, I know you were looking for a house, check this thing out. Like, and that's kind of how it goes. So it's this outside marketing. I also spend quite a bit on my market. Like, so sellers are hiring me to be their advocate to get them the most for their house. And I can't do that without spending the money it takes to do that. And a lot of agents just don't, you know, it's the concern of, if I don't sell this, I won't get paid and I won't recoup. And you can't have that mindset. You've got to go out and just
You're
give it
investing
your
in your
all,
business and
invest in your
yeah.
business and invest in these people because
Yes.
they are trusting you.
Yes.
So I'm not doing, you know, cell phone pictures or a cheap photographer. Everything is high end, high detail, and then it shows in the proof is in the pudding, I guess.
If you haven't seen any of the videos that I'm referring to, follow Chris. You'll see a lot of videos that he's already done, videos that are coming on future listings.
Yeah.
They're creative, they're thoughtful, they're storytelling. They're just so much fun.
Yeah, enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
if
it really
anything,
is.
it makes people smile. You
Yes.
know, but again, if they share it out and they send it out to their friends, that's what we're going for. But again, bringing more happiness in the world is never a problem.
That's
Like
right.
Having a good time and letting people enjoy, even in the real estate market.
It's a refreshing break from seeing like coming soon with a photo. Who
Right.
cares? Like show me
Here's
your
the dining room.
goodness.
Here's the living room. Look at this. It's got vaulted ceilings. Like it is, and then that's the thing. Like try to separate, because right now there's so many homes on the market. You just got to differentiate from the rest of them.
And you make that happen.
That's my goal.
Awesome.
That's my goal. Yeah.
You do it well.
Thank you.
If somebody who knew you the best had to describe you in 3 words, what would they say to describe you?
It's tough, obviously, to describe Chris Schiffermiller in 3 words, but I would say caring, which is probably one of my most important ones. Second would be knowledgeable, on top of my craft. You know, I strive to know the best for my customers, you know, to help them in their buying or selling needs. So that's something that's very important.
Yes.
And the third, it's hard to kind of think of what that third one might be.
Can I help as somebody who knows you?
Yeah, sure.
I would say resilient. I would say on top of it. That's not one word, is it?
Right.
I would say diligent, solid negotiator, and I would also say you got other people's back.
Yeah.
Always, you've got other
Right.
people's back. Is there a word for that?
I put that in like the caring category.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think about people so much. Like they're my number one priority over any sort of commissions or anything. Like at the end of the day, you know, we get paid for what we do, but you can never put that before your whoever you're helping, whether it's your buyers, your sellers, and doing everything ethically is kind of wrapped up in that as well too. So just caring about the people so much and giving them my best effort every day, and I think that's really what kind of like is why I wrap that into caring as my number one thing, because I just it's
It shows up in everything you do.
thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah.